This is Jarrod Horak, and I'm back with my second video this week. I just took a look at the untappable stakes in my first video. That one's the Kentucky Oaks 2023 points race. And in this video, I'm going to cover on the road to the Kentucky Derby, the Gun Runner Stakes from Fairgrounds. So the untappable is at Fairgrounds. This Gun Runner Stakes is also at Fairgrounds. And for the top 5 finishers, they earn Kentucky Derby points, 10 points to the winner, 4 for second, 3 for third, 2 for fourth, and 1 for fifth. And I'll be covering all of the Oaks and Derby Trail points races in these videos on my YouTube channel. So stay tuned each week that they run those. I will be covering those. Next month, the Smarty Jones Stakes for the road to the Derby, I will be covering on January 1st. On the 7th, the Jerome from Aqueduct. I'll be covering the Sham from Santa Anita Park on January 8th. And then we have the LeCompte on January 21st. And the Southwest from Oaklawn Park on January 28th. So those are some of the videos that I will be covering on this channel beginning January of 2023. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you like this content, and if you're interested in my full card analysis, and that will be from Santa Anita Park. And Santa Anita's full cards will begin with their opening day on December 26th, and they're going to run all the way through June of 2023. And I'll be covering all of those full cards at therunawayhorse.com, and you'll be able to find those on my sales page. You can purchase individual full cards, weekly and weekend packages, or the entire meet. Therunawayhorse.com on my sales page. Now, enough of all of that. Let's get into the analysis of this video. And I'm going to be doing the 11th race from Fairgrounds for Monday, December 26th, 2022. The $100,000 Gun Runner Stakes for 2-year-olds, mile and a 16th on the main track. Scheduled post time 6 p.m. Eastern. Hayes Strike will break from the rail, 7-2 morning line for trainer Kenny McPeak, and he's run 6 times with a win, a second, and a third. Broke his maiden second time out when he stretched out from 7 furlongs to a mile, and he won that race easily at Ellis Park by more than 4 lengths. And then he was 4th in the Iroquois Stakes. That was the first Kentucky Derby points race. That was September 17th. Then he was nowhere in an optional claiming race at Keeneland, and then Keeneland in the Churchill Downs in the slop in the Street Scent Stakes. That was a grade 3 on October 30th. He rallied from 9th to finish 2nd there, and he was a clear 2nd that day. And then last time out, the grade 2 Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes. My top choice Instant Coffee got the job done there. Curly Jack held 2nd by a head over Hayes Strike, who was rallying from 8th place that day. So Hayes Strike is one that will probably save ground from off the pace and try to get involved late. Probably like him a bit more underneath. Jace's Road is going to try to bounce back for trainer Brad Cox. This is a $510,000 quality road colt. And in his debut, he looked really good. That was at Ellis Park at 6 furlongs. Stuck the pace, took over, and won by more than 6 lengths. Second time out, he was in that first Derby points race, the Iroquois Stakes. I liked him that day. He ran a decent race. He stalked the pace. Ended up finishing an even, clear 3rd, 4 lengths clear of the rest. Could not stand up on a sloppy track in the Street Scent Stakes last time, that grade 3 at Churchill Downs. He was there early, but he was nowhere late, beaten 8th, in 8th place, beaten more than 36 lengths. So now they've given him a little bit of a freshening, and he's probably going to catch a fast track this time. Weather forecast looks good. It's supposed to be sunny on December 26th and good clear skies in a few days before that as well. So we're looking at a fast track at Fairgrounds for the 26th, and this one will probably end up impacting the pace, probably tracking the pace under Florent Giroux. Determinedly, a recent maiden winner for trainer Mark Casse, and this one was 4th in the debut. They were just jumping this one around. 5 furlong debut on the main track, he was 4th. Stretched him out to a mile and a 16th on turf, second time out, and he rallied to finish 2nd. The grade 3 With Anticipation, he ran in that race as a maiden. He finished an even 4th, and then he was back with maidens, and this time at Aqueduct on the turf course, even 4th again. And then Casse said, let's switch things up, let's move him to the main track. And back on the main track on November 5th, he ended up finishing 2nd, beaten 7 lengths. Now, Arabian Light Night was the winner there, and that was on the Breeders' Cup Saturday undercard. And in that race from post 11, he stalked the pace, could not keep up with Arabian Night, who's a promising 2-year-old for trainer Bob Baffert. But this one ran a decent race. He didn't quit. He stalked. He got up to 2nd in the stretch, and he was more than 6 lengths clear of the rest. So that was a good effort, and by far his best career effort. And then he backed that one up, because Arabian Night ran a especially fast race that day on November 5th. So then on November 26th, the Churchill at 7 furlongs, this one chased the pace from 3rd, was pressing that pace, and he just took over, and he won by more than 7 lengths. Very easy win, and he backed up that speed rating that he got on November 5th, 3 weeks later there, to win easily. So now they're going to go back around 2 turns. Now, he hasn't run 2 turns on dirt yet, but he handled 2 turns okay on the turf course, and he seems like he's a better horse on the main track. And now he deserves another chance to go a route of ground, and we'll see how good he is. He'll probably end up stalking the pace in here under Luis Saez. Old Alliance is next for trainer Mike Stidham. This one is a son of Hard Spun. And he won his debut easily at Laurel Park. 7-horse field. He got out there from the inside post. He got the early lead, and he never relinquished that lead. He won by almost 5 lengths. Second time out, he was well beaten. It was a 10-horse field. He was racing wide. He ended up finishing third, beaten 18 lengths. So those top 2 finishers, Golden Mischief Gallant Mischief, and Arabian Lion, they were 17 lengths clear of the rest. Now, Arabian Lion came back last week. He was my top choice in the Los Al Futurity. He ran last there, just did not run his race. He was tracking the pace, never looked comfortable, and he retreated and ran last. Now, Gallant Mischief did run a good race as my top choice in the Remington Springboard Mile. He had a slow start, and he made a wide, sustained, big move from off the pace, and he ended up finishing second there. So maybe with a little bit of racing luck, it's possible that Gallant Mischief could have won that Remington Springboard Mile, but he ran a quality race, and at least he backed up somewhat of that performance. So now Old Alliance is going to have to run much better because he was no match for those horses last time out. Amazing Mark is next, and he's 10-1 morning line. And this one, nice steady improvement. He was 4th in the debut, didn't really get involved after breaking slow. Then he was out in post 11, racing wide and finishing 6th in a 12-horse field. That was in a dirt route at Keeneland, second time out. And then they added Lasix, and he graduated when he got closer to the pace at Delta Downs last time with a nice, strong finish. So now he's going to come to Fairgrounds here, and he's going to lose Lasix in this spot, and he's going to have to really rally from off the pace because his style is definitely to be pretty far back and then try to get involved in the late going. He's going to really need a pace collapse. Raise Cain is next, and he's 8-1 for trainer Ben Colebrook, and he was nowhere in his debut. 8th, beaten 18 lengths, but Loggins won that one. Highly regarded Brad Cox trainee on the Derby Trail. And that one, Loggins came back and finished second in the Breeders' Futurity. This horse came back and broke his maiden at Keeneland at 7 furlong, second time out, tracking the pace and winning by 5. In his third career start, 6 furlongs, the Bowman Mill Stakes. And in that race, he finished a well-beaten third. So now they're going to stretch out in distance for the first time. And he's going to certainly have to run back to his speed rating that he earned in his maiden win. And then he's going to have to do that around 2 turns off of a short layoff. And the winner will round out the top of the field in here, and he's number 7, and he's 7-2 morning line, and he's one that's going to switch back to the main track. He broke his maiden in his 5.5 furlong turf debut at Keeneland, and in that race he looked good from off the pace. He was 9th in that 11-horse field, and he just stormed home to win, going away by a couple lengths under Flavien Prat. They moved him to the main track second time out in the Bashford Manor Stakes, and he was third, beaten 12 lengths, but he was almost 7 lengths clear of the 4th place finisher, so it wasn't like he didn't pick up his feet at all. He ran okay in that race. And then they moved him back to the turf course, the With Anticipation Stakes. He was the favorite in that race, and he finished an even third after coming after the leaders in the stretch. He just couldn't get by. An okay effort that day. I made him my top choice in the Grade 2 Bourbon. He was 4-1. He was actually the favorite at 4-1 in a 12-horse field in the Bourbon, and he was breaking from post 12 under Flavien Prat, and he just stormed home to win that one too by more than 2 lengths. The Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, he did not run a bad race there. It was a 14-horse field. He was back in 14th early, and he ended up finishing 7th, beaten less than 4 lengths. So now they're going to come back to the main track on this one, and we're going to see if he can have that same electric kick that he showed in his 2 wins. His 5.5 furlong debut, big kick to win that one, and then the same thing in that Bourbon Stakes, big kick from off the pace. And if he can have that kind of run in a 2-turn dirt race, he looks interesting. But he's got to prove it still. Again, his only dirt start was not spectacular. It wasn't terrible. It was just kind of okay. And he's going to have to run much better than that. And we'll see if he can do that. So now I will give out my top contenders and my wagering strategies. And we'll give out Determinedly as the top choice. I really liked the effort in that last race. And even that Arabian Night race, I thought that he ran fine that day. He just ran into a Bob Baffert buzzsaw there, and he was more than 6 lengths clear of the show, and he earned a strong career best speed rating that day. And then he duplicated that rating in his next start when there was no Arabian Nights around. He dominated. So now they're going to try him back around 2 turns on dirt for the first time, although I did mention that he ran 3 route races on turf earlier this year, including a second place finish at Saratoga on the inner turf on July 30th. So if he can run back to either of his last 2 speed ratings, I think he has a very big chance in his first start against winners. Now, how I'll play this race is I'm going to make a win wager on number 3, Determinedly, and then I'll play an exacta, Determinedly on top of number 2, Jace's Road, and then I'll also use number 7, And the Winner Is. So that'll be number 3 to win, exacta 3 over the 2-7, and then an exacta 2-7 over the 3, and then I'll play a trifecta. I'm going to key number 1, Hayes Strike, in third, because I think his late run could net him a share here after saving ground. So my trifecta is 2-3-7 with 2-3-7 with 1. Those wagering strategies are on the screen now. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you like this content, and that will wrap up my Road to the Derby video this week. I'll be back next week, and I'll be doing more Road to the Derby and Oaks videos. I mentioned my upcoming videos next month, and keep checking my YouTube channel for these Oaks and Derby videos on the Points Race series. And until I see you next time, good luck at the races.